The rise of the BRICS group, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is one of the most remarkable stories in modern economics. In just a few short decades, these emerging economies have transformed into global superpowers, driving economic growth and development on a massive scale. From booming tech industries to rapidly growing consumer markets, the BRICS countries are reshaping the world's economic landscape in unprecedented ways. Today, we'll look at the BRICS group's meteoric rise. The origins of the BRICS group can be traced back to the early 2000s, when these 5 countries began to gain international attention for their rapidly growing economies and expanding middle classes. As these nations continued to develop and modernize, they realized they had much in common regarding their economic goals and political aspirations. In 2009, the BRICS group was officially established to promote economic cooperation and development between these 5 nations. Since then, the BRICS group has become a major force in the global economy, with a combined GDP of over $18 trillion and a population of more than 3 billion people. One of the key drivers of the BRICS group's meteoric rise has been China's explosive economic growth. As the world's most populous country, China has become a major engine of global economic growth and has played a key role in driving the BRICS group's rise to power. At the same time, other BRICS nations such as India and Brazil have also experienced impressive economic growth thanks to their large populations and expanding middle classes. Another factor contributing to the BRICS group's success has been their ability to work together on issues of mutual interest. Whether promoting free trade, addressing climate change, or advocating for international cooperation, the BRICS nations have shown a willingness to collaborate and coordinate their efforts on a global stage. Of course, the rise of the BRICS group has not been without its challenges. Economic inequality, political instability, and corruption have all posed significant obstacles to these nations' growth and development. However, the BRICS group's commitment to economic and social progress and their growing global influence suggests that these challenges can be overcome with continued cooperation and collaboration. Looking to the future, the BRICS group is poised to continue its meteoric rise as these 5 nations work together to address the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. Whether it's promoting sustainable development, expanding access to education and healthcare, or creating new opportunities for economic growth and prosperity, the BRICS group is sure to play a key role in shaping the future of the global economy for years to come. The BRICS group's meteoric rise has also been fueled by its abundant natural resources, technological innovations, and skilled workforce. For example, Brazil has become a major player in the agricultural industry, with exports of soybeans, beef, and other agricultural products contributing significantly to the country's economy. Meanwhile, Russia has benefited from its vast oil and gas reserves and expertise in the technology and manufacturing sectors. India, for its part, has emerged as a leader in the IT and software industries, with a highly skilled and educated workforce that has helped to drive the country's economic growth. And South Africa has become a major player in the mining industry, with abundant reserves of gold, diamonds, and other valuable minerals. In addition to their economic strengths, the BRICS nations have also demonstrated a commitment to promoting social and environmental sustainability. For example, China has made significant strides in reducing its greenhouse gas emissions and has become a major investor in renewable energy technologies. India, meanwhile, has made significant progress in expanding access to education and healthcare and has been a strong advocate for gender equality and women's empowerment. As the BRICS group continues to grow and expand, they are also likely to face new challenges and opportunities. For example, they will need to navigate the changing dynamics of global trade and investment, as well as the growing threat of cyber attacks and other forms of economic espionage. However, by continuing to work together and pursue common goals, the BRICS nations are well positioned to overcome these challenges and continue their meteoric rise to global superpower status. Who would have imagined that the BRICS countries would develop into a serious threat to the G7 nations? However, what was once a remote possibility now has a chance to happen, which might alter the global political equilibrium. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are together referred to as BRICS. It is purportedly a term for the world's emerging economies that was coined in 2001 by Goldman Sachs's chief economist. When South Africa formally joined the organization in 2010, it was then known as BRIC, with the letter S being added subsequently. 2009 was the first official summit of the BRIC countries. The conversation then seemed to be mostly abstract. However, BRICS didn't start making meaningful strides towards greater integration until 2014, when the Young Alliance, which now included South Africa, launched the new development bank with a $50 billion seed investment. With this choice, the group signaled its readiness to begin challenging the West's hegemony over the World Bank and the IMF, two major international monetary institutions, driving force behind the expansion. However, the Russia-Ukraine war's effects on global geopolitics and the resultant shifts proved to be the impetus behind BRICS's tremendous expansion, particularly when economically significant nations started expressing interest in the effort. Argentina, the United Arab Emirates, Mexico, Algeria, and Saudi Arabia are a few of them. With a present contribution of 31.5% to the global GDP, ahead of the G7's 30.7%, recent financial statistics indicate that the BRICS are already the greatest GDP bloc in the world. The potential of BRICS to increase its membership base while maintaining its existing growth represents one of the biggest opportunities and challenges it now faces. It is crucial to support new members in maintaining their political and economic independence. It is sometimes questioned whether the IMF bases its financial assistance to nations, particularly those in the global south, on political considerations. Although this attitude is entirely tied to privatization and opening markets for Western investors, it is frequently defended under the pretense of human rights and democracy. As BRICS grows stronger, it may be able to assist less developed nations without advancing its own political agenda or subtly influencing and dominating the regional economy. A political struggle, as inflation is hitting many Western countries, resulting in slower economic growth and causing social unrest. Nations in the global south are using this as an opportunity to develop their own economic alternative. This means that groups like BRICS will cease being exclusively economic institutions. The struggle is now very political. On March 30th, Brazil and China announced a trade agreement that would allow them to use the two countries' national currencies, the yuan and the reais, respectively. This step shall prove consequential, for it will encourage other South American countries to follow suit. But that move was neither the first, nor will it be the last of its kind. One of the main decisions by finance ministers and central bank governors of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, following their March 30th to 31 meeting in Indonesia, is to reduce their reliance on the dollar. They agree to reinforce financial resilience through the use of local currency to support cross-border trade and investment in the ASEAN region. This, too, is a game changer. The BRICS countries, in particular, are leading the charge and are set to facilitate rearranging the world's economic and financial map, while the West remains wary of the changes underway in the global South. Washington and other Western capitals are worried. Following a meeting between U.S. President Joe Biden and 40 African leaders at the White House last December, it was clear that African countries were not interested in taking sides in the ongoing war in Ukraine. Consequently, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris flew to Africa on March 26th to meet African leaders. To argue that BRICS is a purely economic group is to ignore a large part of the story. BRICS's expansion and the discourse of its members, potential members, and allies indicate that BRICS has become the South's new platform for geopolitics, economy, and diplomacy. Though some Western politicians and media insist on downplaying BRICS's role in shaping the New World Order, the change seems to be real and irreversible. What do you think of the video? Feel free to let us know in the comments section below. Also, before you go, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing updates on some of the latest news around the world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.